So you want people to like you more. You can feel this rejection towards you when people talk to you, or they don't, which is equally as terrifying. And that's because everyone knows you suck ass. No, I'm just kidding. But in reality, being more likable is just logical. So I'm gonna explain that logic so you can get yourself the respect you deserve. When people like you and me say we want to be more likable, it means a couple of things. We want to feel important, to be prioritized, to be respected. Like when we talk, we want people to smile at us, to pay attention, to ask us questions, and so on. We just want to get treated better, man. The problem is that people tend to humiliate themselves when trying to get noticed or liked. Why is that? Well, first, let's understand what is society, aka the people we want to like us more. In short, it's just more than one people interacting, like you and your best friend, your family, your classroom, your country. These are all societies. And let's not forget Earth, the most weird, dysfunctional family in the universe. And all of them has their unique rules. Yes, rules. Things that you have to abide by if you don't want to be exiled. We'll talk about those rules later in the video. Just to clarify, from now on, when I say society, I mean the one that does not know you. Imagine that mysterious bunch you call coworkers, or the unpredictable sea of faces in your lecture hall. You have to understand two things. First, getting cozy with society is in your best interest. And second, society is not a good and honest thing. Shocking, I know. Society is not about friendship or real connections. It's a theater. And in the theater of life, everyone wears a mask and plays their part. Now that you know what society is, how can you get treated better? First, you need to understand why people treat others the way they do. It's simple. People judge. After judging, they create an opinion of you. After that, they will interpret your actions as done by someone they created in their head. And from then on, you're just a character in their personal sitcom. They will treat you based on the opinion they have of you. If people don't treat you right, it is because they don't think you deserve it. In their eyes, you're about as appealing as a soggy sandwich. But what exactly do people judge? Well, it's a theater. They will judge your mask and your words. First, the mask. It is your appearance. Everyone will, and I cannot emphasize this enough, everyone will judge you by your appearance. What is appearance? Haircuts, height, clothes, accessories, body, face, gestures, tone of voice, body odor, and much more. Everything that can be seen, heard, or smelled. But what is the correct appearance? Well, not all people think the same, not all preferences are the same, and not all people have the same taste. It would be impossible to get everyone to agree on what haircut is the best, but it may be easier to get a bunch of people to agree on the worst ones. So that's actually the first step. To avoid the worst ones. Actually, no. The first step is to care. Care about your appearance. Look at the good-looking people around you. What do you like about their appearance? What can you change about yourself to look more like them? Look at yourself. Analyze your appearance from other people's perspective. Do some research. Once you start to care, you learn a lot about how to get the most out of your potential. I've already said that not all people have the same values by which they will judge you, but you can absolutely make general statements. For example, being tall and having a voice that doesn't sound like you just inhaled helium might win you some brownie points. Is it shallow? Yes. Can you stretch your legs or deepen your voice with sheer willpower? No. And that's just society. You have to accept that. You can choose how to play the game or not. That's on you. Alright, strap in because we're diving deeper than just the surface level stuff, like whether your haircut is hip or tragic. We're talking about something that bubbles up from the depth of your very soul. Words. Yes, those things you sometimes regret saying the moment they leave your mouth. Words are you. You are words. Your words are your opinions, your view of the world. They show how you feel, how you think, all bundled up and delivered for easy judgment. Words are like windows, and society's got its nose pressed up right against the glass, fogging it up with their breath as they squint to see what's inside you. There are two aspects to this word thing, the content itself and the shape of the content. Think about it as a letter and an envelope, or a Christmas present and the wrapping. In society, as you've understood by now, superficial is king and is always more important than what's inside. So yes, the shape of your words are more important than what you are saying. The shape would be the tone, how fast you talk, the pitch, how aggressive, how passionate, and much more. Now, just like the appearance, there is a code for words. There are things you can say and things you cannot. Obviously, you can say anything you want, but in the context of abiding by the rules of society and getting along with them, you cannot say these things. There is a grade for what is considered acceptable by society. Grade S would be the things that you can say and almost always get lightness. For example, saying you love cats and dogs, or you love your grandma, or your mom, or your nephew. Now, jumping to grade F. These are the things that you should never say out loud. For example, a bad joke that will absolutely ruin the way people judge you. If you are strangers, obviously. Now, there is a deeper dimension to this, and that's time. When people first meet you, they will try to make a first opinion of you based on the impression they have of you. It is absolutely key to be careful about everything when you first meet them. The opinion they make of you will dictate how they treat you from there, and believe me, changing a first impression is as impossible as you getting some bitch. See, making a bad joke can ruin the vibe. Anyways, that first encounter is when people decide whether you're more a golden retriever or a garden gnome in their personal social zoo. People will try to put you in a box in the fastest way possible, so be aware of some cliches that people tend to run into. For example, talking fast can seem as insecure, being too agreeable as a lack of personality, being goofy as having no self-respect. Now, you don't have to not do those things, you just have to be okay with that. Quick thing I want to mention. First, the number of people in your personal fan club or hate club, depending on the day, matters. A group of 3 people has a different dynamic than a group of 5, so you decide how to adapt. To summarize, society judges you by appearances and words. There are rules that dictate when appearances and words are acceptable. Everyone is on this spectrum of 3 dimensions. How good is your appearance and how good are your words? This would indicate how more probable it would be to be judged positively by your surroundings. And remember, actions always follow opinions, and opinions always follow judgment. And judgment always follows the way you present yourself. So what can you do to get others to treat you better? Slap on a mask. Yes, life's a never-ending masquerade ball, and you're juggling masks like you're trying to set a world record. It's like being on a reality show where the prize is social acceptance and the challenges are everyday interactions. You have to adapt to society. Either it's your family, your friends, your classmates, you have to adapt. Keep an eagle eye on what ticks people off and steer clear. Or don't, and accept the frosty treatment that comes with being your unadulterated self. That's a choice you have to make. Be transparent and suffer the treatment, or put a mask on and be stress-free, but with a slight weight on your consciousness. And if the people that surround you are tolerating and do not base their actions on their opinion of you, but rather on what they observe, then consider yourself a very lucky person.